Hello, everyone, and welcome to the episode 11 of Empower Her Voices. This series is dedicated to inspiring, motivating, educating, and encouraging women by sharing valuable insights, compelling narratives, and powerful success stories. I'm your host, Faiza, and I'm thrilled to introduce tonight's phenomenal guest whose journeys and achievements are sure to inspire and empower. So, first, we have Marcía Alvarado, a trailblazer who has seamlessly blended her passions for engineering and modeling into a unique career path. So, as a licensed professional engineer, Marcia has spent over 2 decades designing vertical structures, mentoring aspiring engineers, and leaving her mark on the future. And from being an NCCA scholarship athlete to being named a top 40 under 40 emerging design professionals, her relentless pursuit of excellence is unmatched. And in modeling, she has broken barriers, working in New York Fashion Week and championing one's wear fashion. So through the Alvarado experience, she promotes the message that everyone is unique and connected. And joining us is Robyn Donaldson, a visionary entrepreneur and global leader in STEM education and diversity within the construction industry. Robyn is the founder of STEM Xposure Incorporation, Construction X, and Renew Construction Services LLC. Her innovation programs and mentorship have actually empowered hundreds of students across Florida and Kenya, breaking barriers for women in construction through workforce training and inclusion. And as the owner of Renew Construction Services LLC, Robyn has led high profile projects, including managing facilities for the Super Bowl. And her leadership has actually earned her prestigious awards, including the 2025 President Lifetime Achievement Award and the 2024 President's Volunteer Service Award. She's a beacon of inspiration for the next generation of STEM professionals and construction leaders. So tonight we are honored to have both of these incredible women join us. Welcome, Marcia and Robyn. We I'm so happy to have you here, and I'm sure that on this platform there's a lot that we can learn from you and the phenomenal work that both of you are doing for the I would rather use this word that you are actually scaling it globally rather than just having it within certain borders. So you're like bringing the opportunities out for actually walking the talk that world is a global village nowadays. So thank you so much, and I'm all my ears to you, and I'm eager to hear your stories and how STEM exposure is actually creating an impact. So thank you to both of you.
Thank you for having us.
So, Robyn, let's start by hearing about your, professional journey. So, could you like walk us through your background, the key milestones in your career, and what inspired you to pursue a path in STEM education?
Well, thank you for having me, Fazia, and I'll gladly share my journey, which started in the construction industry. So I attended trade school and I studied industrial electricity. Are we good?
Robyn, your mic is on mute, I guess.
No, I'm not on mute.
Can't hear you right now.
You can't hear me. I'm not on mute.
No, it's on mute. If you
I just
can,
unmuted it. Are we good now?
your voice is not audible right now.
I can hear her
I
fine.
guess let me just put mine on this and we can just check. Is my voice audible to both of you?
I can hear you.
Okay,
Yes.
so Robyn, I can't hear your voice right now. I can see your lips moving, but I can't hear right now.
I was able to listen. I was able to hear
Oh,
Robyn.
even your voice is not audible. Let me just check because let me just put mine on mute and then we can just check. Yeah, Robin, can you speak now?
I'm
I can
here.
just
Can you
want
hear
to
me?
check that is it's still not audible.
I can hear her fine on my end.
So what you can do is that can you leave and can join again? I guess by doing so, if there's any distortion in this bit, we can resolve it.
I'm sorry, you want me to log out and log back in?
I am really sorry, it's still not audible. So what you can do is that you can like leave the studio and then can rejoin, and I guess we will be good with that. Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that.
Can you
Okay.
hear me?
Sure. Sure. We are waiting.
Can you hear me, Fiza?
Marcia, I can't even hear your voice right now. I know there's something like Okay. Wait. We'll just hang on, guys, just for a few minutes and we'll be back with our guests. It's just that at times when you're going live, these are certain things that we need to deal with. So, shortly, our guests will be back with us. So, we're just going to wait. So, today's episode is all about, how STEM exposure is actually creating impact globally and not within just states. And our guest is here. Let me just add them. Okay.
Hello, hello. Let's try this
Yeah,
again.
Marcia, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, your voice, I'm not sure what's happening because let me just check that. Yes, Marcia, I can hear you now.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, great, great. Okay, so we're just waiting for Robin. So these glitches are part of being live. At times, there's something wrong with the voice. Okay, I guess Robin is also here. Let me just add her back to the stage.
Okay, can you hear me?
Okay, great. I can hear you, Robin. So over to you.
Okay, so
Go for it.
awesome. I'll go for it. All right, here we go. So, my background, I attended a trade school and I studied industrial electricity. And a female in the electrical industry at that time was really hard. So, therefore, I knew that I wanted to stay in the construction industry, but really did not know where. So I have a mentor. Her name is Ann McNeil. She is the president and founder of the National Association of Black Women in Construction. And she literally took me up under her wing. And she had me traveling around the country, exposing me to the different facets of the construction industry until I figured, okay, architectural design, because I love designing and building. And so from that, it gave birth to STEM Exposure, which is a nonprofit organization, and our mission is to expose, minority students and unrepresented STEM careers as it relates to, architecture and construction. And so it all started back in 2018 when an investor asked me to design some conceptual drawings to help revitalize Tampa, right? And so I said, you know what? Let's get these students to design what they want their neighborhood to look like. And that gave birth to our architectural and construction camp. And once the mayor, the city of Tampa understood what we were doing, the camp just really exploded. And from that program, it was in 2021 during COVID that we had the opportunity to go global in the middle of the pandemic out of our garage. And as a result of that, as far as key milestones, that would really be one, because of course, being able to reach so many individuals virtually, it really set the platform for where we are now. Because locally, actually, 2024, we were in 10 countries and we were in 4 different time zones. And we also have 14 students that have went through the program that are now pursuing architecture full time at the University of Nairobi. And so what I feel that is so important about the programming and speaking about it on a global level is that, think about it, 10 countries. So we had students from different backgrounds with the same concern, an affordable housing option. But they were able to collectively collaborate, understanding natural resources, and come up with a solution. And it's not only the solution that they rendered, they learned how to work together as a team and advocate for change properly. And so from that, um, I can honestly say what really inspired me to do the work that I'm doing is because it was done to me. Someone exposed me. That's all it took. Like the light bulb went off and I was off to the races. And I want to provide that same type of nurturing, mentoringship, or guidance that I can give to the next generation of architects or construction professionals.
Wow, Robin, it was truly inspiring. And the best thing that I just kind of picked up or and got inspired from your conversation is that you mentioned, like, students, I guess, if correct me if I'm wrong, students coming from 10 different countries approached for this particular program, and then they went for, I would rather use this word, sustainable housing options. Is it the right word to be used when we talk about STEM exposure?
Correct.
Okay, so it's amazing, It's not just, so if we talk about our country, Pakistan, right, and if we talk about the countries from where the students came, so affordable housing is something, it's a pain point. It's something that the people work for the rest of their life just to have a good housing. And still, if they are, they're not from a business background, if they're like from a job bit and they're coming from any sector, so what they are going to say, they'll save pennies and pennies over the years of like 20, 30, 40 years, and the end of the day they'll just get a house and that is going to be their dream. So coming towards this bit that you're doing over there, we would love to have such initiatives across the globe, because I'm sure it's a dream of every person's house to have something of his own. And then if it's affordable, that's the best bit. So I must say that this thing that you're doing is not just impacting the future generation, but the one, those are just here right now and they have their dreams. So rather than saving up for those, hefty amounts for the houses, they can actually send their kids to get educated under such programs, which can
Yeah.
actually lead them towards a sustainable option, not just for them, but for everyone else. So, and I'm really, amazed to hear that the students are actually working at that level where they're actually understanding the architectural engineering, which is really complex. And I can relate to it when you said that you were the one and it's talking about a woman stepping into it. Yes, that's great, and more power to you for this. So when we started, there was some glitch for the audio. So, Marcia, before that, we proceed towards Robin for the next bit that I wanted to ask. If you can just walk us through your, like, journey of empowering women and then scaling it globally, coming up with entrepreneurship and these proper like opportunities that you're creating.
So you guys can hear me okay, correct? All right. So my journey was definitely very different. I think I came out of the womb with Lego bricks and I wanted to build buildings since I was like 3 years old. So I've kind of been on a one track mind. And I think the difference is that, I had a little bit of exposure, but that exposure expanded, over time, right? In high school, I took drafting courses, right? And in college, I got a chance to interview a civil engineer. And so I went down the engineering track. But this concept of building something, whether it was when I was a kid, I wanted to build with bricks. Like I want to be the bricklayer. But then I was like, maybe I want to be the engineer, like, so like, whether, I wanted to go down the trade side, I ended up being, um, skilled in math and science, so I went down the actual engineering and design professional track. But yeah, I've been on the same track, and I've utilized other skills to help me get there. I picked up a basketball at 7 years old. I played basketball for many years, and it got me a college scholarship here in the States, to get school paid for. And then I started my career in New York City because with all the buildings that were there, I wanted to be right in the thick of things. So my journey was definitely never veered off the path. I think in the last 5 years, I've learned a lot about the business of engineering and the business of our profession. And I think the impact that I've made building relationships has really transpired my technical side into more of an entrepreneurship side. So building those partnerships with different organizations, whether it's a construction firm, a developer, a design, architecture engineering firm, utilizing my personality and my conversation to build those bridges between the teams, to bring partners together. So I like to say now I kind of build more bridges than buildings now. It's kind of a way to like bring people together and to accomplish a goal. And the most universal thing in any business is that you have to deal with humans. Period. So learning how to deal with humans, learning with their communication style, and the things that motivate them, the things that they're passionate about. That's more on the side of what I'm focused on now. With whether it's nonprofit work or for profit work. So that's a little bit about my journey, and I've mentored a lot of high school kids because um, I always saw a need for it in the profession. I didn't have a lot of mentors as I was, started out early in my career. I have a lot of mentors now. I've learned how to find a mentor. So like now I've always given back to, young children to be able to see, all the opportunities in the career field, so that opens up their door, not just necessarily being an engineer or an architect, or a contractor. There's so many other various jobs. And so the more exposure they have, some people want to be the financer and, you know, and have the money. And I'm like, that's another job too. so, so that's a little bit about me and my journey.
So really, really inspiring journey. And when you said that rather than focusing more on building, other stuff, you focus more on building connections and network. And what I feel that nowadays, by considering, uh, if we are going to actually leverage technology the way it is supposed to be, so we can actually reach out to anyone, anytime, anywhere. It's just up to us that which particular sector or niche we want to go for, and then the world is there in your hands. So yes, it's something really great. And when you're building connections, when you're building network, it goes a long way. There's no doubt about that. So that's great. So Robin, Robinson, coming towards yourself, so STEM exposure offers some truly unique programs. So could you like walk us through the different programs you've developed over the years, and what makes them stand out, and how they've evolved to meet the needs of students and educators?
Well, I would like to start with our architectural program. So we do have two signature programs. The first is the architectural program. The local program is entitled She Draws. And with every program we do, very result driven. So, for example, we talked about affordable housing. So the camp is 2 weeks long. They have an assignment, or shall I say, or we're answering an RFP. So, for example, this past summer, there was an RFP for accessory dwelling units. And it was for homeowners to have the opportunity to build these dwellings in their backyard. So, therefore, the students that participated in the program, that was the assignment. We're going to respond to this RFP by providing an affordable housing option. And we literally went through the planning process. So on day one, we had someone from the planning department, the city planning department, and they literally spoke to the girls, gave them all the instruction, answered all the questions that they would need in order to design an accessory dwelling unit. We were given a plot of land, a couple of other folio numbers. So we actually had a live project, right? And so from that, the girls, they learned a hand-drawn exercise. From that hand-drawn exercise, they created a 824 square foot accessory dwelling unit. Then they learned SketchUp, which is a drafting software where they were actually able to bring their design to life, right? A beautiful 3D rendering that could literally pre-sell a house is just that detail, right? And so on the fourth day, they actually go outside and they tape out that 8x24 dwelling. And it really helped them understand space allocation. And then from that, they presented in front of judges and guest speakers. Because it's one thing to have a beautiful design, but also understanding how to present it. And as I mentioned before, they not only learn how to use technology to solve a problem, they understand how to now advocate for change properly. And so that camp or that model is the same model that we use on our global camp. It's just that we're dealing with different countries, different backgrounds, because of course, affordable housing means different things to different people. And then there's also different resources at their disposal. So again, whether it's the local or the global camp, we always have a very focused mission. So the global camp, again, and it was affordable housing option, but they elected to design a kiosk, which they can not only move, that would be their way of providing housing, shelter, and then also being able to run their business. And then they get very creative with natural resources, right? So we have them using jeans as insulation, plastic as, so it's just really amazing the synergy and the ideas that you will get from individuals from different parts of the world. And that is the architectural and the global camp. And as I had mentioned, that we have students that have returned. So for example, the 14 students that are attending the University of Nairobi, these 14 students come back every summer and they teach the next class. And so as the students gravitate toward architecture, now we put them in position. So now you can be an aide to that instructor. And then the following year, you'll probably come back as an instructor. But what we're doing is creating a sustainable learning environment. And it has been very, very successful. The next camp that I wanted to speak about, because if you like the architectural camp, wait till you hear about the Science and Beauty camp. And that is a camp that was founded by Marcía Donaldson. She's a fashion stylist. And her mission is to expose girls from the ages of 10 to 14 to the unrepresented STEM careers within the beauty industry that has nothing to do with the pigment of your skin or your shape. And each day, this is a week program, each day she brings industry professionals to speak on their products. So for example, we had a vendor that came in that specialized in makeup brushes. So it was a full-fledged lecture. And then the second part of the day, they're actually making products or interacting with those products. That camp has just really exploded the past 24 months. Marcía had the opportunity to host that camp at Spelman in Atlanta, Georgia. And it was very significant because Spelman is the first HBCU that added beauty to their chemistry major. And it was such a spectacular way to kick off that semester. And as a result, Marcía is going on a national tour. She's going to tour 5 HBCU colleges this summer, and it's just going to be amazing. And so you asked about, again, the different programs that we have. These two programs, I feel, really speak volumes to STEM education, to personal development, um, and again, just exposure to what's possible, because you never know until you have tried something. And again, that is what STEM exposure is all about. That is our mission. And additional programs that we're looking to add would be AI. We're going to be introducing AI. We're going to also introduce the science of sports, the science of pageantry. And that is going to speak to the mental health, the wellness of the female. And lastly, because we are in Tampa, Florida, and we experience hurricanes like there's no tomorrow, right? We're doing, it's called the science of survival, where it talks about, global warming, storm surges, and things of that nature. So again, we're using a community problem, we're using technology to solve it, but then we're also exposing these students to the different types of careers that are involved in these different STEM careers. Boom, right? But I did forget one. And that is something that I hold most dear to me, and that is our workforce program. So I'm an architectural designer and builder, and I also teach the construction trades. And understanding the need in the construction industry is what pushed me to start the STEM Exposures Construction X Workforce Program. And in the program, we teach students from 16 to 24. Usually they're involved in a youth build program. But then also, we encourage women to bring their talents to the construction industry. Like, we're not in a box, right? We're not the traditional construction professionals anymore. I encourage whatever it is that you enjoy doing, let's bring those talents to the construction industry. And I'll give you a brief example. One of my students, she's been an ER nurse for 30 years. And I laugh when I say it because she's like, Robyn, I don't have another 2 years to give in this emergency room. I just can't do it. So I challenged her. I said, what type of certifications, licensing, and skill sets do you have that we can easily convert to the construction industry? And she landed in safety. OSHA 500, someone who can teach safety, administer those OSHA 30 or those OSHA 10s. And it's a perfect match. And so again, I encourage women, bring your talents to the construction industry. I encourage students, figure out what it is that you love to do, and let's find the STEM in that.
Oh, Robyn, it's incredible. So, there are lots of questions that now I wanted to ask, but you guys are actually, living STEM. I would rather say this, you're living STEM. When we talk about STEM, even if I talk about my country, so it's always about, you connect the classroom learning with the real life, right? So this is like about the philosophy or the framework of STEM education that the kid or the child or the learner, the educator, whosoever is involved in it, they should be able to make connections when it comes to a real life. And there's a lot that you guys are doing. So, I am very like, this program you've mentioned about, I really like this bit when you said that we are actually creating sustainable learning environment. So we have heard about sustainability projects, we have heard about UN SDG goals. So this is the first thing that it's a sustainable learning environment. So this is something very cool because you're not just actually inculcating those skills in the kids, but you're making them a very responsible citizen as well. That fine. So you have recycled items or the items that can make less hassle for the environment in terms of pollution. So when they're gonna go for it, so it's like you are actually working on their mindset, which is which is amazing, which is amazing. Why? Because at the end of the day, when these kids will grow up and when they'll step into their professional careers, all what matters depends upon their mindset. If they have like a broader mindset, as you said, that STEM exposure is not about being in the box, so you guys believe in out of the box, where there are no boundaries and limits. So that's amazing. So, you've just mentioned one thing that I wanted to ask. You mentioned that, you guys believe in that you are teaching the kids about community problems and then the solutions for it. Not teaching actually, they're actually doing it. Then you are leveraging technology. So talking about AI, you have just mentioned, uh, so is it like it being integrated into your programs, or you guys are planning to have it in any of your programs? Like how you are actually managing, because you are the expert in construction and architecture, you can guide us well that if the kids, for example, if the kids out there are the educators, because AI is a buzz nowadays, and there are very like few organizations who are actually implementing the core essence of AI, that how they can actually benefit the learning. So how you guys are doing it?
The AI program, so STEM exposure, because there's various STEM paths that we want to expose the students to. Again, my background is architectural design, right? So I have an advisory board member. Her name is Latrice Ham. She's worked for the government for eons in that department, right? And she has a robust AI program. So therefore, she brings her programming in, and the same students that are going through different camps, or it may be a different student who's interested in that career path, they're able to register for the program and gain that exposure. Now, how it relates to construction, that will probably be a nice camp that we have in the fall to really understand how AI has aided construction. I can speak on from the administrative side, how we use AI for estimates, designing and drafting, all of those things. But we are looking to get more into AI and alternative housing options. And when I say that, we're talking about 3D printing houses, right? So that's something else that we're looking to do in the fall, because actually there's another a nonprofit that is leading the charge with 3D printing of houses. So I can't go into much detail until it's done. But yes, we are venturing into the AI space in regards to the construction industry. And Marcia, you
Great,
maybe
great.
can elaborate a little more on that, because that is your space. And like she said, AI is taking over.
Yeah, I think there's going to be so many different types of industries where AI is going to be a part of the dynamic, right? The part of the conversation. Um, Making sure that students understand that it's a tool, that we use, understanding how that tool can benefit you and how you can exacerbate designs and create unique situations. I think the biggest thing that I've been inspired by AI is the opportunity to get more inspired, right? You challenge yourself with, okay, how I'm going to design this multifamily complex. But, if you provide input and ideas within AI, it can help generate an idea or a concept that can help take you further down the line, right? So it's tapping into more brain synapses than if I just said, "Hey, someone show me a picture of a block house," and then that's your only inspiration. And so, whatever you're doing with AI, whether you're designing a building and using it from the technical standpoint of coming up with the most optimum design, or using it to be creative, like on the architecture side, it's still a tool, and you have to be intelligent enough and build those critical thinking skills to know how to inspire it, like how to give it the meat to be able to pull out what you want and to take it to another level that can be competitive, right? Maybe to the other people that you're competing with, if you're trying to win a project, or if you want to solve a problem. So I think it's always going to be a tool, and in every industry, whatever STEM related industry, it's going to be talked about. But giving the students a high level understanding of how you can use it and how it can benefit you, knowing that you still have to generate the ideas for yourself. But I think it'll help students challenge their thinking a lot more and more. And I think that's going to be the benefit of the camps for the students.
That's great. Thank you so much, Marcia. And very true. I agree with you. You know that you have beautifully related that AI is a tool for the students to actually, get inspired and then and further creating more opportunities out of it. Very well said. So, we are talking about impact and how you guys have so far created like lots and lots of success stories. Talking about 10 countries is not a joke. Like you have actually scaling it further, and I truly wish you guys all the best to make it more accessible for all the countries, because this is something that is rare, and such opportunities are not being found very commonly. So the things which are very special and have impact should be accessible for almost everyone. So when impact is actually the heart of any educational institute, right? Or initiative. So, what kind of outcomes have you seen from STEM exposure so far? Or could you share any success stories or milestones that stand out to you in terms of inspiring students and creating future STEM leaders?
Absolutely. So we also offer what we call a pipeline. So it's not enough for the students to get excited about architecture or construction, but once they have found their niche, right? We make sure that we help them on their academic journey. So STEM Exposure is a registered international recruiting agent for Hillsborough Community College, right? So therefore, what happens is our local students, their 12th grade year, they're dual enrolled at the local community college. And by the time that they graduate, they're on a fast track to their university of choice. In fact, one of our students, because we had two students graduated last year, and they went to FAMU pursuing architecture.
Wow.
And then also we have Nathan Masachi. He was our first exchange student. Last year,
Okay.
he graduated from the community college, HCC, and now he's at Florida International Memorial pursuing architecture. We also have Jalen Cole. She'll be graduating next year with her
Mm.
bachelor's in architecture, and she says she's going to pursue her PhD. I said,
Wow.
okay. And
Oh, great.
she's at the University of Miami. And then
Oh,
also
wow.
we have several students that are in STEM careers that went through the program. It may not have been the architecture, but it was a STEM
But
career.
mm,
And again, all we do is expose the kids. All we do is plant the seeds.
wow.
Once they gravitate, we are there for them for the long haul.
Wow. So, Robin, talking about exposing the students to different, career opportunities, and now you have mentioned that. So, STEM exposure, the more you are sharing, the more it's opening up that you guys are actually working on multiple platforms and initiatives. So, you're there talking about sustainability projects, working with the community and government organizations, and now you have said that you're officially registered. So is it like this one? How many institutes are you guys registered with when it's come to universities or camps? I'm sure when you're conducting camps and then you're setting pathways for the students to actually pursue for their university education. So are there any other universities as well which are kind of like affiliated or associated or kind of any partnership through which if the students wish to continue for your program and further they can have their pathways for any other university?
Well, that's the goal. So as I
Okay,
mentioned,
good.
FAMU, we have a total of 7 students that went through our program that are now at
Wow.
FAMU. So the goal with these
Great.
universities is to serve as a feeder to these universities, because we
Hmm.
are creating a career path for them, right?
Yeah.
Right. So
Yes.
um, so to answer your question, yes, that is the goal. And you had made mention before of that this is an amazing program and how so many can benefit from it.
Hmm.
Understand,
True.
it's virtual. We were in 10
Yeah.
countries. I want to be in 25. I want to be in 30, because
True.
all you have to do is just simply log in virtually and have
Very true.
the internet access where you can support I'm sorry, where you can support the programming that we use or the software
Hmm.
that we use,
Hmm.
and then also for the Zoom call. And
Yeah.
when we get on the call, we've had up to, I want to say, almost 200. No, we had, the most we had was like over 200 students on one
Wow.
Zoom call. And then they all come in and they're welcome. And then that's when we have a guest speaker. So everyone gets to hear the guest speaker, which is an industry professional. And then from that, they're going to their breakout rooms. And then they have an instructor,
Wow.
and then they have an aide, they have a whiteboard, and they get to work, right? And then if there's anyone that
Hmm.
maybe missed the class or has, needs some additional coaching after hours. And this is all done
Wow.
by these college students.
That's amazing. It's a true example of virtual collaborative learning environment. Like
Mhm.
200 students coming on Zoom, and then they are having those breakout sessions. So it's actually you are actually breaking that silo culture as well, in
Mhm.
which kids used to have their learning in their own silo places and bringing them together virtually at their ease, where they have access to these amazing life changing programs. So that's great. That's great. So while we talk about different opportunities, we have talked about the impact. So as we're talking about the opportunities, so Marcia, this is something that I wanted to ask from you. For those like who wish to get involved with STEM exposure, what opportunities are available, and how can students, educators, mentors, and even organizations support your mission and become part of this growing community?
Yeah, so I think one of the unique benefits that I want to piggyback off of the virtual option, um, virtual, whether it's in our profession, we're modeling something that they are going to be exposed to in the future, right? We all are a collaborative. We're having this podcast in, two different countries where that's probably exposed to many other countries. We're creating an environment where they're getting used to the collaboration virtually and then also in person. Um, Getting involved is a very interesting tactic because we are redefining how we educate students on some level. We're bringing in industry professionals. We're bringing in people that love what they do and love to talk about what they do. And sometimes teachers or the school system may be, providing the basics, but you want to hear from someone that's passionate about what they do. Not all people in the profession love what they do. And so the cool thing is people that are activated, that either has been mentored in the past or loves what they do, that is the prime type of mentor and guest speaker or instructor that we look for to come in and share. I mean, that's how I got involved many years ago in just education, is that I love structural engineering. Now, do I go hang out with my friends and talk about structural engineering all the time? No, not that much, because they're just going to fall asleep. But do I come to a classroom of students that are interested in engineering and now I get to communicate that? That's where the education really becomes flourished, right? So being an instructor, being a guest speaker, talking about the industry in all of its vastness. Obviously, Robin has listed out a whole bunch of different programs. We probably touched on a lot of different things, from sports to beauty to the construction world. I mean, just those three alone has opened up a pipeline of ton of opportunity, and organizations, other nonprofits and other corporate partners. We're really looking for corporate partners that want to come in and see the value and the impact that we're making and want to recruit these students eventually when they get their degree or when they get their certifications. we can become a pipeline for those organizations as well. So there's many opportunities to get involved. Um, you can check us out on the website. Obviously, you can just donate if you just believe in the mission. You can just donate $20. Anything is going to help to grow the program and to provide access to unique opportunities to students that maybe they never thought about.
Great. Thank you, Marcia. So, while talking about the collaborations and outreach, you've mentioned that the best bit, which actually strengthen more towards your program when it comes to a global learning, that students can opt for virtual option as well, right? So, there's this question in my mind when we talk about collaborations and opportunities. So, the university kids, so the kids who have just done their IGCSEs or O levels, are they applicable as well to apply for any certain program by going to your website, or is it like there's this certain age? Because when we talk about states, the high school over there is a university over here in Pakistan. So if a student or if a group of schools from Pakistan would like to apply or would like their kids to get enrolled with STEM exposure, so are is there any age limit? Because grades differ from country to country. So I would rather want to know more about the age.
Okay, so I can answer that one. So
Sure,
our
sure, sure.
students, the students are from 10 to 18.
Oh, okay.
From 10 to 18. So they get the same lesson, and you will be amazed. You'll be amazed that the 10-year-olds are better designers. Like who would guess,
Wow.
right? But they
Oh,
are the
it's
better
applicable for 10
designers.
years old as well. So
Yes.
okay, so in Pakistan, because most of the schools are following Cambridge, right? CIA. So British education system. So it's like the earliest program, and then there's this primary years and high school, and then this college. So the 10-year actually falls in primary years. It's interesting. So a child who's in grade 5 or grade 6 at the age of 10, they can also opt for your program. Is that so?
Yes. And as I mentioned, they are the best
Wow.
designers. They are the best.
They're still in their creative
And
mode. They're still in their creative mode, and
ooh,
they haven't been impacted
yeah.
a
Yes.
lot of world around them, right? They're still thinking with parts of their brain that are innovative and unique, and they're not learning from maybe from history or maybe from what they've seen. Like they're thinking more on the creative
Mm.
side. So when you bring those two ages together, I think it's very interesting on what can come out of that, right? When we think about innovation at any level.
Yeah, I agree with you because when a 10-year-old kid, being merged with teenagers of 13 to 18, and they have those crazy mindset, crazy means in terms of the creativity, there's no limit. They're free from the perceptions, free from being the fear of being judged. So they think like beyond limits. And then, yes, obviously, then I do agree with Robin as well that, they will be turning out the best designers as far as other age groups are concerned. That's great. So, Marcia, you were talking about the opportunities, and opportunities are somehow linked to, not somehow like it's entirely also linked to the future. And I'm sure when we talk about STEM exposure, if you look ahead, so what are your future plans for STEM exposure? Are there any exciting expansions, new programs, or innovations you're working on to further your mission and make an even bigger impact globally?
Yeah, I think the success of the global, She Draws camp last year was really a catalyst to open up the opportunity to expose it to even more countries. So we're looking for more collaborators and more instructors, um, professors at university or any other affiliations that would be willing to share about our camp so that we can grow it globally. Um, the other thing that I think we're looking into is this integration of, as you move through your career development or your learning, right, that you're constantly learning how to lead, right? This leadership, this communication style, this idea that you are going to be more than just your technical, skill. You want to be able to communicate those ideas, to share those ideas, to pitch the ideas, right? So really developing more leadership qualities, whether you're 10 years old or 18 years old, right, into the process. And then obviously we mentioned this before, but really leveraging technology, and building that sustainable working environment in terms of bringing a lot of our students that have gone through the program to come back and teach and really create, you know, a STEM exposure global family where, you know, it becomes a resource for you as you move through your career. Maybe you develop relationships with these people when you were 10 and 11 years old, and now you're working together on big projects, and you could be in multiple different countries or sharing ideas, um, or just, you know, from a professional networking standpoint. So I think those are the three biggest things that, you know, we'd like to see the organization grow into.
I had wanted to chime in with that. STEM exposure provides a unique opportunity for anyone that wishes to study in the US. We have an amazing exchange program. So, anyone who, again, wants to study in the US, there is a unique opportunity with STEM exposure to make that happen, right? And Marcia is so humble. She is the secretary for STEM exposure. So, welcome. But then also, she is taking the lead for the global, you know what? It's going to be the global Alvarado experience, right? Because she's going to put her, she's going to put her magic on it. And as she mentioned, we're looking for all STEM advocates, academies, schools, universities, anyone that can hear my voice, if they would like to participate in this global Alvarado experience, just stay tuned and continue checking out our website because the
Hmm.
registration is going to be open. I can
Okay.
tell you right now that the dates are July the 28th through August the 8th. And the
Right.
only requirements are your commitment to the hours that we're going to be, which is 5 hours. And then also making sure that you have internet that can support the software and the Zoom call. And you're more than welcome.
Hmm.
So again, check out as we get closer, we're going to be doing kickoffs and opening registration. And I will definitely make sure that you are in the know so we can share this message. And for those ones that um, maybe STEM advocates, as Marcia said, we are always looking for volunteers. We're also
Hmm.
looking for sponsorship dollars because all of what we do, we provide at no cost. And
Yeah.
just think of it as a way of really preserving the construction industry, right? So
Hmm.
that's how I look at things. But I'm super excited because I stated we were in 10 countries. Let's be in 30. Let's do it.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Let's
great.
do it.
Thank you, Marcy, and thank you, Robin. And definitely, you guys are going to be, not just in 30, more than that, yeah, globally, almost in every part of the world, because this is need of the hour. What you guys are doing, this is something which is actually the pain point, the need of the hour, and which is actually going to create a long-lasting impact. And the best bit is, which as a parent also I loved it, that there's no bar on the age. As young as a 10 years old and an 18, and even if the one who's in university or he or she opts to, go for a course for his or her own learning. And then on top of it, you can avail it virtually by sitting in your country. And if you want to travel, even then you guys are giving them a pathway that fine. If you want to come to States, come to us and we will create the pathway if you are committed. So this is actually a true example of creating those learning pathways which will be there with the kids for the rest of their life. And this is something very noble as well, not just amazing and incredible. It's a noble cause as well. Because at the end of the day, when sustainable housing schemes or sustainable housing projects will be there, it is going to benefit the humanity on large basis. Humans are going to live over there. The families will live over there. So it's great. And thank you so much to both of you. I know your schedule was jam packed, but still you took time out. And this is something that is definitely going to give benefit to the educators and learners. and we are going to make sure that it will reach out to the educators where they can actually get something out for their learners, and they can enroll their kids, or whosoever would like to contribute to this noble cause, they can also contribute as per their own choice. So thank you so much, both of you, for joining us, and these incredible initiatives and the opportunities, and especially like the way Marcia has shared the future plans, and Robyn, you have actually shared the whole soul of it, right? What's the soul of STEM exposure? So, what is exactly nurturing it? So, it's really inspiring. And that's the main motive of this podcast, that we would like to hear inspiring initiatives and stories, and actually those opportunities through which others can benefit, and obviously, especially the girls and the women. And you, both of you, are actually modeling yourself, so it's like you're walking the talk. It's not you're just saying it. So more power to both of you. And it really matters a lot. And we would love to have both of you again on our podcast once you're going to launch the programs, because there are lots of programs. We can have couple of podcasts just for the programs. If we talk about those beauty STEM program, and then the kiosk bit which you created, and about those global sustainable bit. So we would love to have you. And for the viewers, to everyone watching, we hope tonight's episode was has left you motivated and encouraged to pursue your passions and contribute to your communities and support impactful initiatives like STEM exposure. And again, to both of you, before that we wrap up, just a piece of advice from both of you for the learners and educators out there, if they are interested in the STEM exposure, and even if they're not, but they have this curiosity in them that yes, we want to do something which can actually make an impact. So what is that advice?
All right, so they can reach me at executive at STEM Exposure. So that is STEMXposure.org. You can reach Marcia at secretary at STEMexposure.org, or you can find us on the website at www.stemexposure.org. Contact us, and within 24 hours or less, we will respond.
Robyn's
Great.
phone
So that
number,
is fun.
Robyn's phone number is
Ah!
Dot dollar BB. Great. So, no, definitely. And if you are going to reach out to these email addresses, I'm sure that there will be a huge impact and change in your life, because they have shared, they have actually shared the nutshell of all what they're doing. If they're going to talk about the initiatives in detail, one podcast is not going to be enough. So we are going to share the links of their website and other collateral as well, so that you can go through it. And if there's any question, you're more than welcome to reach out on the email addresses that Robyn has just shared. So thank you once again to both of you. It was lovely talking to you. And then, these initiatives actually broaden our horizons in a way that, oh, there's a lot that the organizations out there are doing. So we can also go on the same path. We need to follow. So you are the pioneers, you're the trendsetters, and further people can actually, keep on following you by either getting involved or by doing what you guys are trying to do, what you guys are actually doing. They can try for it. So thank you, guys, for watching this. And I'm sure that, if you really want, if you talk about STEM education, or if you talk about concept based learning, or if you actually are looking for connection between real life learning and the learning within the classroom boundary, so STEM exposure is actually the right place where the kids can actually get into STEM careers. Only what is needed is commitment, and obviously how keen you are to put your kid at the right place. And then world is really competitive nowadays. With your own individuality that you have, just give your best and do what makes your child feel good at, not just being certain into certain professions, As they said, that STEM exposure is about, it's not about in the box, beyond the box. So I'm sure that this is going to benefit you. So see you again with another exciting episode. Till then, keep on empowering others, keep on embracing yourself, because that's the best bit that you can do. So have a nice weekend and see you again. Thank you.